beautiful night here in lovely Truro, Nova Scotia. Sunday evening, unwinding after another week. Although given what I do, there isn't really a Monday to Friday. I'm a freelance independent content creator, video producer for my channel, Firm TV. You can check it out at facebook.com/firmtv. Also follow me on Twitter at FirmTV, that's FIRM TV. Same as the address for this meerkat, Firm TV. So Monday to Friday, I guess, doesn't really apply. Sometimes I work the weekends, sometimes you work 7 days a week, sometimes you work 4 days a week. I guess technically you're always working, because for me, I'm always thinking about the next idea. So for me right now, I just launched my online channel last week, and I've been populating it with content, and I've been trying to think of ideas, come up with things to produce content for, subjects to cover, things to do. And as I go forward, Firm TV will become more and more populated with content, particularly local content, but given where I am on the east coast of Canada in a town called Truro, I'm about an hour from the capital city of Halifax. But for me, I cover a pretty large area in terms of wanting to do video production. Within an hour to 2 hours drive, there's a lot of different towns and cities that I can utilize for what I do. I do anything from corporate videos to producing short ads, video ads for businesses, to doing profiles on athletes. Whether an athlete or an athlete's parents want profiles done of their son or daughter, either for just a keepsake, or maybe they want something a little more detailed for a potential coach or recruiter for a new team. Basically, if it involves video production, shooting, editing, scripting, voicing, that's what I do. I worked in network TV for a little over 13 years, went out last year on my own, freelance. And that's what I do now. I work for myself doing video production, doing things that I used to do for a corporation, I now do for myself. It's a little tougher when you don't have a steady paycheck coming in every 2 weeks like you do with a salaried job. But the freedom and flexibility that you get being freelance, having your own company, being on your own, in my opinion, outweighs being tied down, working in a corporate environment. Not that there's anything wrong with it, to quote Seinfeld, but after 13 years, learning a lot and wearing a lot of different hats, it was time for me to branch out and try my own thing. And I've been doing that for a little over a year now, and loving every minute of it. In the last little while, things have started to solidify, and I've gotten a much better foundation under me in terms of leads and potential clients. The name of my company is actually Firm Foundation Media, thus the name of my online channel, Firm TV. I think there's been some people who have seen me streaming and have seen Firm TV, and they've gotten entirely the wrong idea, if you know what I mean. But that's, it could be a double entendre, I guess. Some people have taken it that way, but it's entirely from the name of my company, Firm Foundation Media, which actually pays homage to my mom. I don't know how familiar anybody would be with the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, but it's the easternmost province in Canada, and much of the province is incredibly, incredibly rocky. And a lot of that rock is granite. And when they built the Trans-Canada Highway, which would be the equivalent of the interstate in the U.S., a lot of extra blasting had to be done through certain sections of Newfoundland and Labrador because of the granite. And my mom, even though we moved to Nova Scotia, my mom was a very proud Newfoundlander, and Whenever she would reference Newfoundland, she would always say, built on a firm foundation. And she was always very proud of the fact that Newfoundland had that granite, had that rock, had that foundation. She passed away a couple of years ago, so when I was thinking about names for a company, which if you've ever tried to think of a name for a company, it's not as easy as it sounds. You kind of argue with yourself about every name that you pick. Hey, it's not as easy. Oh, cover up here, good grief. It's not as easy as you think picking a name for a company, but when I thought about it, I kept coming back to both of my parents who are both passed on. And I still get a lot of inspiration and a lot of daily motivation from both my parents. And again, I just kept coming back to how my mom, she was so cute when she used to say that, built on a firm foundation. So that's the name of my company, Firm Foundation Media. And thus the name of my online channel is Firm TV. So if you would be so kind, you can follow me on Twitter at Firm TV. You can follow the online channel on Facebook, facebook.com/FirmTV, and also search out Firm TV on YouTube. But if you go to, if you follow Firm TV on Facebook and Twitter, I post videos, content on both of those links, and it'll take you to the YouTube channel anyway, because right now, the bulk of what I do with Firm TV, that's where it lives. It lives on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of live streaming under the name of Firm TV, and I'm hoping to do a lot of like live streaming broadcasts under the name of Firm TV and to host broadcasts. So in other words, hey, good afternoon, we're on location or at whatever, I'm Scott Squires with Firm TV, we're here today and blah, 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 blah. So to basically turn this live streaming and the access that people have to be able to broadcast right from their smartphone and turn it into an extension of what I want to do with Firm TV. So I want to have the online component, the streaming component through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, but I also want to use the amazing medium that is streaming, whether it's Meerkat, which obviously is this app, but I've also tried Periscope. Not as crazy about Periscope. It's I don't like how all the comments disappear in like half of a second, and it seems to me, although some would say that I've got ADHD anyway, and most people that work in broadcasting or media kind of do because that's your personality. But for me, Periscope really seems to be the streaming service that is most closely related to having ADHD, because everything's like so quick, so fast. The messages come, they go. The other thing I don't like is that if you get to a certain amount of people watching your stream, you can't comment. It blocks it. It says the broadcast is full. Anyway. Tried another one called Stream, STRE.am. That's a pretty cool one, actually, for a streaming service. Tried Ustream, and I've tried Livestream. But they kind of all have their pros and cons. But last week I gave a lot of attention streaming-wise to Stream, STRE.am. I use them a lot. I think this week I'm going to focus a lot of my streaming on Meerkat and see what kind of reactions I get, see what kind of connectivity I get in terms of being able to have interaction with people and engage with people that are watching the streams. And like I said, one of the things I want to do, streaming, it's all about content, right? Thousands of people are streaming. Some people stream them sitting down and having a bowl of cereal. Some people stream from the ball game. Some people stream whatever. To each their own, right? It's out there to use. It's no different than Facebook. Some people post on Facebook what they had for breakfast. Some people post things that are a little more in tune with their business, like I do with my Firm TV page. But for me, what I want to do is I really want to utilize streaming to broadcast events, people, places, events that normally people wouldn't get to see. So if there's something going on in my town, something really cool, like last week my daughter, she's 9, her school choir was part of the Rally Against Racism. It's a big yearly rally with all of the schools that they have here, and her choir sang in that. And I live streamed some of that, but on another app. So I want to use these streaming apps to basically treat them as broadcast signals, as broadcasters, and to be a broadcaster using these streams to broadcast. And I hope that by providing, in my estimation, in my opinion, what I think is going to be valuable content, especially if you're in and from around this area. But, people I was watching a guy the other day who he's an archaeologist, and he's American, but he was over in Italy, and he was streaming from the ruins in and around Rome, and it was fascinating. It was great. It was so interesting, and you're able to ask questions. That's the other thing I like about Meerkat is if somebody types a question or a comment, it stays on the screen, and even if it rolls up because so many people are commenting, you can still scroll up and down and catch those comments. On Periscope, they disappear. Like I've seen people who have had like 200 and 300 people watching their stream, and there's so many comments that they're trying to keep up, and it's just impossible. You'd have to be a speed reader extraordinaire. So that's who I am. My name's Scott. Firm TV is my online channel. Again, I certainly hope that you use those little buttons down here. Whoa, that's a big finger. There we go. Down here. Share my streams, subscribe to my stream, subscribe to Firm TV. Check me out on Twitter at Firm TV. Check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/Firm TV. Love to have you on board. I'll be doing these streams quite often, especially this week, because I'm going to be trying the next couple of weeks each of the streaming services. I'm going to dedicate a week. Last week it was streamstre.am. This week it's going to be Meerkat. Next week it's going to be Periscope. And then the week after, I think I'll try Ustream. And I'm going to try and decide which ones have the most engagement, which ones seem to have the most faithful followers, and which ones have the followers that are really willing to engage with you and to have a conversation back and forth. So thanks for watching. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again soon. Remember, subscribe, share, like, check out Firm TV on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter, and have a good night.